Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes video. So this one's going to be a really long game, as you can tell by the video length. It's over an hour long. I think the game itself is an hour and 3 minutes and some seconds. I don't know how many seconds. But it's a really long game. It goes back and forth, and it was definitely worth showing you guys. We're playing on Longray, and I am the Americans. My opponent is the Panzer Elite. And before we go on talking about the game, because the game always starts off pretty slowly, I want to talk about why there hasn't been Company of Heroes videos lately. I know a lot of you were asking, like, why are there no Company of Heroes videos? Do you hate Company of Heroes now? Are you just not playing because of the beta that Company of Heroes 2 has going on right now? And the reason for the lack of Company of Heroes videos lately has basically been two things that came together at the same time, and both of them prevent me from making videos, so you guys were not able to get videos at all from Company of Heroes lately. Those two things were, first off, the fact that I wasn't getting any good Company of Heroes games. They were all one-sided, they were all short, there was nothing really spectacular about any of the games I played, and I was playing a lot of games. Company of Heroes was the game I was playing the most out of all the games I play. In this past, I don't know how long it's been, a few days, maybe a week, I don't know. But it's been the game I played the most, and I haven't gotten any good games in it, except for this one. This one was awesome. The second reason for the lack of Company of Heroes videos is my recording hard drive in my computer actually died. More or less. I mean, it's still fully functional, and if you're not using it for recording videos, you wouldn't even notice that it had gone slightly bad. But if you're using it for recording, it wouldn't work, because basically it would just lock up for no reason whatsoever every few minutes, and even sometimes more often than every few minutes. And whenever it locked up, it would cause a freeze in the video, and it could last like 5 seconds. So basically every few minutes in a video you'd have a 5-second freeze, and that was just terrible. So I can't even use it for recording anymore. I have since taken out the hard drive, I put a new one in, and it is all good to go now. The same problem actually happened to me like a year ago, and the hard drive fixed itself. And I think the hard drive fixed itself once again, because the day I bought a replacement hard drive for it, I wanted to test it just to make sure it was actually bad. And it looked better than it ever has on the graphs I tested it with. So I think it fixed itself, but I have a replacement drive now, so the problem should never happen again. But of course, it's all computer hardware, it all fails. So, anyways, now that I've done all that talking, let's go back to the game, and I can explain what's going on. So basically, I am dominating my opponent, who has actually built the Tier 1 building, the logistic company, as Panzer Elite. And I am playing as Americans, so that was a really poor decision. I mean, sure, you get a lot of capping power with that many scout cars, but you don't get much fighting power. Scout cars are not very good against riflemen. They just flat out aren't, so as a result, they're not good against Americans. They are good against the British, and in fact, my Panzer Elite anti-British strategy revolves around scout cars in the early game. So it's good against British, not against Americans. So that's one of the downfalls of my opponent in the early game here, and he's going to regret that. He is definitely going to regret that. So we'll have to see how that turns out. In the early game here, you can see I'm dominating him. He's already regretting going with these things. I don't know why he's not pushing me out of cover here. I fully expected him to. I was like, why are you not coming closer to my rifles and pushing me out of cover so you can do damage? I have no idea why he wasn't. And apparently I gave one of them a damaged engine, even though I was not focus firing on it. He just got more bullets into him, I guess, because he was closer. So that works out well for me. He has to take the time to repair it, and that's time he's not spending fighting with his Panzer Grenadiers. And I'm going to take the house here. At least I'm going to try and fail. But that doesn't matter because I have so much firepower that he can't really deal with it. Do I get a squad on retreat here? I think I tried and I did not. Yeah, I told the Jeep to focus fire. The Jeep wasn't able to kill it, so that didn't happen. By the way, my Jeep survived pretty late into this game. I was very proud of how long I kept my Jeep alive. Maybe my opponent just didn't play well, but I was pretty proud of how long I kept it alive. I don't know if I mentioned it, but we talked, me and my opponent talked in the beginning of this game about what level we are. He said he's level 11. I didn't say what level I am because he never asked me, so he obviously doesn't want to know. And that's something I do whenever I ask what level someone else is. I don't tell them what level I am unless they want to know, because sometimes they just don't want to know and they play worse when they do know. And I don't want to be mean and tell them my level when they don't want to know. So he's level 12, I'm level 12. This is a pretty balanced match, even though I can tell my opponent's making huge mistakes that I'd never make as Panzer Elite. Actually, I just realized, am I not level 12 as Americans? I might not be. I think I was level 12 as Panzer Elite. I don't think I have ever reached level 12 as Americans. Only level 11. Anyways, my max level is 12, so I'm basically level 12. I just finished the motor pool, and the reason I'm going with the motor pool instead of BARs or bars is because someone in the comments told me, I don't remember their name, it starts with like an N, it's their real name, it's not an American name in any way, shape, or form. I know what their icon looks like, it's kind of like tannish, I don't really know how to explain it any better than that, but I know who you are. You commented telling me that BARs don't do much against the Panzer Elite armor, whatever armor they have, I don't know what it's called. Heroic or Elite or something, I don't know. But BARs don't do much damage against the Panzer Elite, Panzer Grenadier armor. And so it's always better to go for an M8, because an M8 is harder for the Panzer Elite to counter. It does more damage against the Panzer Elite, and it can basically kill any of their vehicles except the Panzer IV IST. You can even kill a Martyr, because all you have to do is circle the Martyr, and it will never be able to shoot at your M8. And that just makes it really easy. So you should basically always go for an M8. The only reason I used to go for bars, and I still usually do go for bars, but I'm trying to force myself to go for an M8 against Panzer Elite more often, just to try it out. But the reason I normally go for BARs before the M8 against Panzer Elite is because it's easier. It takes less micro, and I have an overall stronger force. I don't have to rely on the M8 being in two places at once in order to have more firepower in two places at once. I mean, I could build two M8s and then I would be covered there, but you don't want to really build two M8s against Panzer Elite, because once you have one out on the field, they will basically just try their hardest to counter it. So now you can see I chose to upgrade BARs, and that's because I already have an M8. And so that works out quite well, and my M8 just scared off his scout car. You'll notice that in this fight that's happening right now, I had a one-man rifle squad cap or decap the strategic point on the very bottom right of the screen, and that was because he has a fuel connected. My opponent has a fuel connected over there, and I basically just disconnected him from it. I'm trying very hard to keep him from teching, because Panzer Elite can't do anything without fuel. Kind of the same with Americans, more or less. You can't do much without fuel, but the Panzer Elite to an even more extreme extent, so I'm doing my best to make sure he can't get any fuel. Now, compared to the beginning of the game where I was dominating him, I'm not dominating him quite as much anymore, and that's probably because I just had to build the motor pool and the supply depot. I think it's supply yard. Where did I get supply depot from? I don't know. I was just playing SimCity before this, so maybe that's where I got it from. So I guess that's why I am like not having as much map control as I was before. It's because I had to build those buildings. He didn't have to build anything. He already had his tier 1 building built, and as far as I know, he's not building any other buildings at this point, and I don't think he is. Thinking back at this game, I don't think he's building anything else right now. Now, he has gone tier 1, and you have to remember that. And one of the abilities that you can upgrade for your Panzer Grenadiers in tier 1 is AT grenades, and AT grenades can be dangerous. Ooh, look at this. I forced him into my rifles here. He was trying to circle and get away from my M8 with his scout car. I forced him into my rifles using my M8. Now I can cut him off from the whole left side of the map. That is awesome. As I was saying, what was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying. It was something about... Well, I know I mentioned that I don't have much map control compared to what I had at the beginning of the game. Oh yeah, AT grenades, there we go. So he has the AT grenade ability that he can upgrade from the logistic company Tier 1 as Panzer Elite. And AT grenades suck. They flat out suck. Unless your opponent sucks at microwing their vehicles. And the reason for that is when you throw an AT grenade and you click on an enemy vehicle, the grenade will go exactly where you click. It won't aim for the vehicle. Even though it looks like it'll aim for the vehicle, it doesn't aim for the vehicle. Instead, it aims for that particular spot on the ground. And so if the enemy vehicle moves after you give the command to throw the AT grenade will entirely miss, and you'll have just wasted however many munitions it costs to throw one, I don't know. Hey, my opponent has an armored car, so we did build Tier 3. But as I was saying, AT grenades just suck for that reason, unless your opponent can't micro their light vehicles. Which in my case is not true. I can definitely micro my one M8 auto in the field without much of an issue. It is half health though, so he has thrown some AT grenades, I believe. Either that or he has a mortar, but he doesn't have a mortar. I can safely say that. So a whole bunch of battling went on the left side, as you just saw, and his armored car is having some trouble dealing with my M8 because all he can do is kill the 50 cal gunner. He can't really do anything else against the M8. I mean, I have actually lost M8s to scout cars because scout cars can destroy an M8's armor, and it'll destroy the health a little bit at a time, but it doesn't happen very often, so an M8 will almost always win against an armored car. Unless your M8 is at like 5% health. Then it's easy for an armored car to win. So my M8 versus his armored car, he's going to lose that, obviously. So it was kind of a bad move on his part to build Tier 3, but at the same time, he didn't know I was going for an M8. He doesn't know if I'm going for BARs or an M8. I went for both in this case, but I went for the M8 first, and that just happened to be a bad roll for him. That's one of the reasons I actually go for either Panzerschrecks or build Tier 4 and get the AT half-track early on as Panzer Elite, because you need some form of AT just in case that M8 does show up. And the AT half-track is able to easily kill an M8 if you keep it at max range. Little known fact, the AT half-track has just a little tiny bit, like 1 meter extra range compared to any other light vehicle in the game. Except maybe like even a Stuart. Even compared to a Stuart with the upgrade, the AT half-track has just a 1 meter bigger range that it can shoot. So if you can keep it at that max range after tread breaking an enemy light vehicle, and you can keep that light vehicle from being repaired, and you can keep your AT half-track alive, you can kill the opponent's light vehicle with your AT half-track without taking any damage. So AT half-tracks are really good, and I usually go for those over Panzerschrecks, and the early game is Panzer Elite. In this case, my opponent did not do that, and that's gonna hurt him in my opinion. Not really sure why he decided to build Tier 3, I guess he just wanted a fast armored car, but it didn't turn out to be very fast, because I got an M8 by the time his armored car showed up. Why is the squad not throwing the grenade I told them to throw a while ago? They need to throw it. I think it bugged out and I don't actually get to throw at all. But that always sucks, because it's like you're wasting munitions. You spend the munitions to throw the grenade, but then the squad never throws the grenade. It happens sometimes with stickies and Panzerfausts, and I guess grenades as well. Well, there goes the grenade. Either that or it was another grenade I decided to throw. I think that was the second grenade I decided to throw. So we have the whole right side of the map, basically. He has the whole left side, which is actually less than half the map because of where the hedgerow is. It's quite interesting how unbalanced this map is in that way, but at the same time, this map is one of the more balanced maps in this game. So I just thought that would be worth pointing out. But like I was saying, we have the whole right side of the map. We have most of the map, basically. and that means I'm getting more resources than my opponent is. And now I'm building a triage center because I need to build something to heal up my units, and that is obviously the only option. Now this Jeep is still alive, and I'm using it to scout his base. I moved it close to the hedgerow right outside his base, or no I didn't, because I saw his force coming at me. Now I just want to make sure this Jeep stays alive. That was probably the smart move. Vet 2 on my M8. He's not able to counter it at all. I mean, he does have AT grenades, but AT grenades suck, like I said before. And they also cost a lot of munitions and such, and he's also apparently wasting... Oh, he threw AT grenades. Well, that worked out for him. Even though they suck, I was not microing my M8, and so he got the kill. That squad needs to retreat. There we go. So now he's using my M8 carcass as cover. I need to get away from this because he has long range. He has G43s, which is where G43s excel in long range, so he has every advantage there. I don't even have a cover advantage, so I got out of that fight, backed up my rifles, backed up my Jeep, lure him on the left side, unsuccessfully because his armored car was shredding my infantry, so that kind of sucked. But I got out of the fight. Don't ever fight battles that you know you will lose, because you'll just waste your manpower, and manpower is the rarest resource in this game, so you'll be basically losing because of it. It's not fuel or munitions that's the rarest resource, it's manpower. Drill that into your head. Manpower is the rarest resource in this game. It will help you play significantly better. Okay. Now that I'm done drilling that, he's attacking me with his armored car, and he's doing a good job kiting with his armored car. Unluckily for him, I have another M8 out on the field, and I'm going to lose this Jeep if I'm not careful. It already has a damaged engine because I wasn't paying attention to it. Does it die here? I thought it lasted longer. It might die here, but I thought it lasted longer than this. Yeah, it has to now, because the M8's here. He's not going to go chasing the Jeep just to lose his armored car. That would not be a worthy investment. Especially because his armored car has Vet 1 already. It's killed so many rifles. I wonder what killed the M8. Probably an AT grenade. Either that or the armored car. It's the only two things on the field that can kill it. Well, I guess it technically can be killed by regular small arms fire, because small arms have a chance of penetrating the M8's armor. But it doesn't happen too often. Kind of like the Puma. Puma can be killed by small arms fire, but it doesn't happen too often. What is he doing? Why is he fighting this fight? Retreat, there you go. Never fight a battle you know you're going to lose, such as this one against a martyr where I can't circle it. I shouldn't even bother trying to circle that martyr because he has a base flak Veerling somewhere around there. My M8 would get shot at by that. And also that wasn't much room to circle around the martyr. So that would not have been a good idea. Just back up the M8 and then we're all good to go over there. I'm glad I built this triage center. They're so good, especially if you have tons of low health squads that are fully reinforced. Because they just make your squad so much better, and they are basically brand new. Except now they have more experience to go along with it. Yeah, now you'll notice on the left side of the map, I am capturing his highest fuel point that he has, and that's very good because we obviously want to keep my opponent from having fuel, even if it means losing some manpower in this, and that, you know, I got the decap, but I am losing manpower. I'm trying to lure this armored car to chase me, get too close in, then I'll throw a sticky, and he'll lose the armored car, but it didn't happen. I just had to retreat. Don't fight battles you know you can't win. He was microing his armored car really well in this game. That's definitely a plus for him. He didn't make very many mistakes with them. So I basically couldn't get any stickies off on them in this game. I might have gotten some, but not very many compared to how many I'll get against like a level 10 player. There's such a world of difference between a level 10 and a level 12. Unless, like, I'm level 12, but if I'm tired, I will play as a level 10 player. And I don't play nearly as good as I do compared to when I'm awake. Oh, look at this pathing. This pathing sucks. You chose the worst path you could possibly choose, M8. So I have to send all my infantry over here to save my M8. And does it do it? Nope, out of control. That sucks. I didn't save my M8. This martyr's not going down. It needs to go down. There we go. Martyr's down. Vet 2 on a rifle squad. These engineers need to retreat. There we go. He's retreating. I don't know who's winning this battle. I can't tell, but now there's an armored car. He's definitely going to win this battle, even if I do have flamers, because flamers, while they do a lot of damage to Panzer Grenadiers, they are not gonna destroy an armored car, and neither are BARs. I was not able to throw stickies there, and I try to throw a sticky here, it doesn't happen, and now he's chasing my retreating squads. Oh man. That is not good. He's chasing retreating squads. I cannot lose these squads, especially the Vet 2 one. Throw as many stickies as we can get on this thing. Just throw stickies galore. There we go. I threw 2 stickies I didn't need to throw, but I don't care. It was worth the munitions lost to destroy that thing and save my Vet 2 rifle squad. So as I was saying, before that chase started happening, I didn't throw any stickies in that battle around the left side munitions point, the plus 16 I believe it is. And the reason I didn't throw any stickies was because I was busy trying to keep my squads alive. I wanted to make sure that they weren't gonna die. I had to retreat them in time and all that kind of stuff. My opponent has clearly gone Luftwaffe, in case you didn't notice. I didn't mention it, but in case you didn't notice, he has clearly gone Luftwaffe because he's actually had at least 2 of those squads that have 4 men, and they cost 360 manpower, and they can spawn in buildings. I don't know what they're called, but those men, he's had at least 2 squads of them, if not 3 or more. He may have actually had 3 at least. I don't know. I haven't been really keeping track, but he's clearly gone Luftwaffe, and that's gonna... I don't know if that's a good decision or not. I mean, I do have a ton of infantry. There is no denying how much infantry I have, and Luftwaffe is the anti-infantry doctrine, just like Tank Hunters is the anti-tank doctrine as Panzer Elite. And then Scorched Earth is something else. Who knows? That's just like it's a make your opponent work more for their money doctrine. I don't know. But he's clearly gone Luftwaffe. I have a ton of infantry. But we'll have to see how that turns out for my opponent, because I don't know. I didn't really think about this when I was playing, so we'll have to see it together. I will form an opinion as I watch this video and I commentate it at the same time. I have a Vet 3 rifle squad already. How far are we in the video? 2240? Yeah, I already have a Vet 3 rifle squad. I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, we are 23 minutes in almost, so... it kind of makes sense. It just means I've done a really good job keeping squads alive, and that is something I'm usually pretty bad at. I'm proud of my Vet 3 squad, because unit preservation is the area I do worst in. But watch this micro here. Watch this micro here. He keeps trying to throw AT grenades at me, but I keep backing up just in time because I see the throwing animation, and he doesn't cancel it. So we just wasted 2 AT grenades. I don't know how many munitions they cost, but whatever munitions he just spent, he wasted them because all it did was make me move my M8 back and forth twice instead of just leaving it there sitting. So like I said, AT grenades just suck. Unlike stickies, they don't target the vehicle, they just target the ground. Kind of annoying. I mean, it looks, when you click on a vehicle, the vehicle blinks, so it looks like you're targeting the vehicle when you throw an AT grenade, but you're not. I find that pretty annoying. But it's just one of those things that you have to learn about the game, or else you simply won't do very well in this game. Koloch, whatever those things are. Fallschirmjägers, that's what they are called. Fallschirmjägers. There we go. He's had at least 2 squads of those, if not 3 or more. There we go, that's what they're called. Here I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie just like he did to me over on the left side. Except this time it's on the right side, and it's my M8 versus a Martyr instead of my M8 versus his armored car. Oh, I have a Calliope on the field. I didn't mention that. I got a Calliope. I went Armored Company, and then I got a Calliope. And the reason for the Calliope is my opponent has so much infantry and vehicles that can be killed by the Calliope that I knew if I got the Calliope, he would be losing so much manpower that while I might not be winning instantly, I'd start winning over time, and basically the Calliope is my way of making him spend the rarest resource in the game, manpower, and force him to be on level field, basically, because I do have a 261 manpower income, which is very low. It is high for Americans, because I do have these supply art upgrades. I have at least one, if not both. I know I got both at some point in this game. But I do have the supply art upgrades. But he has a higher manpower income, but if I can at least drain his manpower by killing units and killing blobs with my Calliope, that'll help me a lot. And hey look, his kitty detected my mine, the one mine I laid this game. No, that's not true. I laid 3 mines. One right there, and then 2 in the most random locations you can think of. Because that's how you have to lay them against Panzer Elite. You don't lay them next to points. There's a reason I only laid 1 mine next to a point in this game. Because against Panzer Elite, it just doesn't work. They'll go capping a point with their Kettenkrad. Kettenkrad will detect the mine, and that will be it. Instead, you want to do it in places where your opponent will attack, and he will leave his Kettenkrad behind, because then he won't detect the mine, he'll run over the mine, and he will die because of it. So big tip there. When you're playing against Panzer Elite, always lay mines in spots that are just totally random, but where the action is going on. Oh boy, I'm going to lose this M8 again. That first Calliope barrage did quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 deaths from my opponent over there. From the Calliope barrage. There may have been more. I don't know. I have 4 rifle squads chasing down this, what's it called, Martyr 3. I just thought that was pretty funny, because they can pretty easily kill a Martyr 3. Especially because one of them's Vet 3, 2 of them are Vet 2. One of them has no Vet, but that's fine. He might have been a new squad or something, I don't know. Have the no Vet 1 capture points, because you want as much damage as you can deal. You want to deal as much damage as you can deal. And the way to do that is to use your higher Vet squads. Use the lower Vet squads to capture points. That's another big tip. If you are low on things to do in the game and you're capturing points, capture points with the weaker squads. Have the ones with better fighting capability. Go other places. Oh, the Jeep ran over a butterfly bomb. That sucks. And he just ran over another one at the very top of the screen. Now he's almost dead. I think this is where he dies. Oh, I just lost a rifle squad. And it was the no-vet rifle squad. We'll never know if it was a brand new squad or it had any kills or anything. Doing another Calliope barrage. Let's see what it kills. Yeah! At least 3 kills. I fully expected him to be charging after my rifles because he had the upper hand. So I knew he's going to chase me to kill off my rifles and force a full retreat on my side. Let's use the Calliope to make sure that doesn't happen. And it worked. He had to retreat. And it killed some of his units. And hey, that mine actually killed someone. Now this heroic Vet 3 rifle squad is going to get the sticky off on a Martyr. I only sent it here because I wanted to protect my Calliope. I saw the Martyrs creeping up, trying to kill my Calliope, but he's not able to with this rifle squad here because of stickies. And he's laying more butterfly bombs. No! Ooh, my M8 killed a squad. I forgot I sent my M8 over there. I did send it. Ooh! That was a nice grenade. Oh yeah, my opponent's going with offensive vet. Let me take a drink of water here. Hold on a second. I've been holding that glass in my hand for 2 minutes trying to take a drink of water, but there's so much to talk about. So, my opponent's going with offensive vet, and I don't know, I've mentioned this a few times before. I don't know if that was the smartest move on his part. Because while it does make all of his squads survive longer because he can kill my squads faster and thus take less damage overall on all his squads, it doesn't improve the health of your own squads as Panzer Elite. And as a result, you still have to, or actually, I mean, as you get later in the game, the Americans get stronger, faster killing units. And so that means as Panzer Elite, if you're not getting any more health or any more armor or anything like that, you have to retreat even sooner than you used to have to retreat when you're fighting a losing battle. And that becomes kind of hard, especially later on in the game when you can easily lose a squad in a second of focus fire, as happens in this game at least once. And So it does make you more susceptible to losing full squads. So that's one of the downsides to offensive, but of course the upside, like I said, is that all your squads overall take less damage because you deal more damage. But I don't know, I would personally say that if you were able to handle the faster response you need when retreating by using offensive vet on Panzer Elite, then go for it. Do offensive vet because it's better than defensive. But if you're not able to handle the short amount of time you have to retreat, like he had a very short amount of time to retreat from the Grenadiers through there, but he was able to retreat, so good for him. He's able to handle the offensive vet downside. If you're not able to handle that, definitely go defensive, which is what I normally do, unless I feel like I'm fully awake, I am playing very well, I can handle the decreased retreat time period that I have. So, it's up to you. He's chasing my Calliope here, and I was like, oh my god, Calliope, go to the back of the base! Quit your stupid pathfinding! And I moved the M8 out of the way, and that fixes the issue. But that was terrible. I was so scared of losing my Calliope right there, because it was one hit away from death, especially on the rear armor. It's a Vet 1. I don't want to lose a Vet 1 Calliope. And that was so scary. He had martyrs. He had 2 martyrs, if not more, going in for the kill on my Calliope. But then he changed his mind. I don't know what made him change his mind. Oh, that was a nice Calliope barrage. I killed a full Vet 1, I believe, with the FG-482 upgrade. Fallschirmjäger squad. But yeah, he decided to turn around and not chase my Calliope, which I don't know why he did that, but he did, so I was really glad. And here I call in the second Calliope, and now he's thinking, oh my god, 1 Calliope was so bad, why must you get 2? I am so screwed. He's thinking that, he is thinking that, he knows how good Calliopes are. I've used them so effectively against him in this game. So he knows, like, oh my gosh, 2 Calliopes. What do I do now? Oh, this is not good right here. That's a Vet 3 rifle squad. Vet 3, just lost it. I don't know why I sent a Vet 3 squad over there alone. That is not something I would ever intentionally do. I have no idea why I did that. But I did, and I lost them as a result. That's pretty terrible. So, I just lost 1 Vet 3 rifle squad. It may have been my only one. It's not the only one I get this game. I do get at least 2 more, but that's still a pretty big loss, because Vet 3 rifle squads own. Now, I did send a Calliope barrage there after he killed my squad, but it appears that he moved his entire force somewhere else, because I killed nothing. I didn't see any XP points pop up from that barrage, so that sucked for me. It was a waste of a barrage, but then again, I have 2 Calliopes. I can afford to waste barrages like that. I don't have to make every barrage count. I can do some barrages to probe. I can do some barrages to make my opponent move out of the area, even if he's not there. Which in that case would be keeping him out of that area. But I can send barrages on individual squads like that one, which I was wanting to kill it so badly. That's a Vet 3 G43 Panzer Grenadier squad. If I was able to kill that, that'd be a huge blow to my opponent, but I wasn't. That sucked. My M8 is Vet 2, my 3rd M8 this game. The first one was at Vet 2, and then it died. Now my 3rd M8 is Vet 2, and it's still alive, so that's a good thing. We'll have to see if it reaches Vet 3. I don't know if it does or not. I know I can safely send it to a single Panzer Grenadier squad, because worst he can do is throw 1 AT grenade, and then he has a huge recharge time, so we'll see on the minimap. I have it here, actually you can see on screen. I have it fighting the squad, and it's like, I don't care, you can throw your AT grenades all you want. I'm going to attack you, make you retreat, then I'm going to go back to my base, and repair my M8, and there will be no harm done. And then he's sending a martyr after my M8, you can see it here. I was like, oh boy, M8, you better get back to base in a hurry, because I do not want to lose you. That would be my 3rd M8 lost, and your Vet 2. I do not want to lose you. Luckily for me, he cancels off the chase, and my M8 makes it back safely. So, I don't know. That's the 2nd time he's canceled off a chase. I think he's scared I have a bigger force. He knows that I have had most of the map for most of the game, and he knows I have 2 Calliopes. He thinks I have a bigger force than I do. That's what I think he's thinking. I don't know that's what he's thinking, but I think he's thinking that I have a bigger force than I do in reality. And that works for me, because if he thinks I have a bigger force, he's not going to come attacking me. Instead, I attack him, and he loses territory while I keep all the territory I already had. My engineers are laying a mine over somewhere in the middle of the map, and it's a random mine. That's just how you have to lay them against Panzer Elite, because otherwise the Technical Crowd will spot it, and it'll be a useless mine. You'll also notice I have the minesweepers on the engineers, and that's because my opponent has been using tons and tons of butterfly bombs, and I just want to make sure I don't run them over. So I'm actually sending my engineers with my rifles just so that I can have a minesweeper with my rifles, and the butterfly bombs basically won't do anything to me. So I'm basically countering his 100 munition investment per butterfly bomb set with a single expense 35 munition expense, and that is awesome because I am winning out so much better than him on that munitions cost. This was a double Calliope barrage, one in each spot, one to the left, one to the right. It worked out well. He retreated his whole force. This squad died over there, his squad that is, not mine, and that was awesome. I killed off a vetted, I think it was also, once again, just like the previous squad I killed, Vet 1 with the FG-42 upgrade. And now here he has a huge amount of force. I was just like, oh, now I wish I had saved one of those Calliope barrages, because I could really use a ton of killing power here. But I don't have one. Instead, I send my inmate up forward, and I throw a grenade, and he doesn't retreat from the grenade. That's where defensive vet would have helped him, because he was not able to retreat in time. My inmate almost died to a martyr right there. I think it was one hit away from death, so I am glad I backed it up. Yeah, 2 martyrs over there. That's pretty dangerous, but I can send my single Vet 3 rifle squad over to them, and he will back up because he knows martyrs suck against infantry, and if he sticks around, I'm just gonna throw a sticky on him times however many, I don't know, depending on how long he sticks around, and he'll basically just be losing units uselessly. So here's another preventative Calliope barrage. I do send it on the martyr in hopes of killing the martyr, but it is full health, so the likelihood of that happening is pretty low. I do kill a kitty. That +9 experience at the top of the screen was me killing a kitty. That was pretty funny. That was just pure luck, but I killed a kitty. So that's gonna hurt him pretty bad, because that is 165 manpower, and that's awesome. Now if you look at the minimap, you will see that there is a square around the munitions point just next to my opponent's base, and that means there's an OP on it, and I didn't realize that till the very end of the game that he even had an OP on that point, but he does, and that's kind of a weird point to put an OP on because it's a +10, and he has a +16 over farther to the left of the map. But I guess in his defense, he was not sure if he was going to be able to keep that +16 over on the left of the map, because I do go every once in a while attacking over on that side. Not too often, but every once in a while. And whenever I do go attacking on that side, it's usually a full-on attack, and I fully cut him off from that +16 point, in which case he would get no munitions income. So I can kind of understand why he OP'd the +10 instead of the +16. Here's a close-up Calliope barrage, and he is not retreating. Why are you not retreating? You need to retreat, dude. Are you gonna lose the squad? He doesn't lose the squad. He is so lucky. He should have retreated there, but I think he was busy doing other stuff. Who knows? He's still there just capping. Oh my gosh. Now I have the other Calliope send a barrage to the other squad near my cutoff point. That's pretty funny. I'm just wasting my Calliope barrages more or less. This fight, I am definitely losing this fight. Oh my gosh. Oh, I lost a Calliope. How'd that happen? That obviously was martyrs. Oh, there's martyrs all over my back. Oh man. Let's see. Get all the vehicles out of here. Turn the AT gun around. To get the Calliope and inmate specifically. It's okay if the Jeep dies. It's actually alive. Oh, the inmate died. That was a Vet 2 inmate. AT gun's gonna fire at stuff. My Jeep is left there. But that's okay, I need to get my... Oh, there goes the Jeep. But I need to get my Calliope out of dodge. I need to keep my Calliope alive far more than I need to keep my Jeep alive. And the Calliope goes down. I did pop Allied War Machine though, and that means I get a free Calliope, but I did lose 2 Calliopes there, both of which were vetted, I believe. At least one of which was vetted. So that really sucked. He did a really nice flank there with his Martyr 3s. I don't know how many Martyr 3s he sent at me. At least 3 of them. 3 Martyr 3s. And wow, this new Calliope is 1 hit away from death as well. That's kind of sad. He's doing a good job with this flank. That was a really nice flank on his part. And as a result, I'm pushed entirely back into my base. Oh, look at this Calliope barrage. That was perfect. I killed full squads with an S at the end of that, so multiple squads. And I severely damaged his Martyr over there. I saved my rifle squad. That was a really nice Calliope barrage. So that kind of gets payback for killing both of my Calliopes. I did spend Allied War Machine, which I believe is 250 munitions. I know it used to be, but it might have changed. I don't really go Armored Company very often, so I don't know what its cost is. All I knew is I want Allied War Machine because I'm about to lose both of my Calliopes. I popped it too late though, and he killed the first one before I even noticed he had flanked me, so that sucked. At least I got 1 free Calliope out of it. Spent 250 munitions to save me 650 manpower. I would say it's worth it considering how many munitions I still have, and manpower is the rarest resource. Always do your best to get as much manpower as you can. Save your manpower, all that kind of stuff. So it was worth popping Allied War Machine even just for 1 Calliope there. Now as a result of that whole push, he pushed me all the way back into my base. I tried to push out again, and I did push him back a little bit, but as you can see, he pushed me all the way off the field again, and that means he's free to capture everything he wants. I don't know if he knows that he pushed me all the way off the field, but he knows he pushed me really far back, because as you can see, he's capturing the victory point on the right side, which is pretty close to my base, so he knows he's pushed me back pretty far on the map, and he's definitely using that to his advantage, which props to him. That is what you're supposed to do. I mean, at this point it looks like I'm losing. I might have 318 victory points while he has 87, but just looking at the map, I am losing. He's about to have 3 victory points. I decided to not do a Calliope barrage on the point, I guess. Yeah, I decided to not do the Calliope barrage on the victory point over on the right side, because I wanted to save it for when I knew where most of his units were, because I wanted to do as much manpower damage as I could. Because I don't have 2 Calliopes anymore. Oh, he's going to lose his squad. That's a Vet 3 squad he's about to lose. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose it. Yeah, he's going to lose it. Yes, there we go. As I was saying, though, I only have 1 Calliope now, and so I can't really waste my Calliope barrages like I was doing when I had 2. So yeah, I waited till I knew where most of his army was, and then I threw it down and got 4 kills, at least out of it, if not more. I think 5, actually. So that was a decent barrage. Good job for me, I guess. I don't know. It was a good Calliope barrage, though. So now you'll see that since he pushed me all the way off the field, this is kind of the point where I was realizing having individual rifle squads is not helping me in this case. I need to blob them up and just send them everywhere at the same time, and send my engineers with minesweepers along with them so that they don't run over butterfly bombs. And so you'll see me blobbing right here. This worked out so well, actually, this blob. Because when I was fully spread apart, he was able to kill a ton of infantry and a ton of vehicles, so it obviously wasn't working out well. And now that I'm blobbing up, he's not killing as much. I do full-on retreat here because he's still winning, but not to the same extent. And you'll see me doing that basically the rest of the game. That's all I do, is that kind of a blob. Rifles with a single minesweeper engineer squad, so I don't run over butterfly bombs. That's get words out. That's actually a really good strategy against Panzer Elite, because they will blob, and if you're spread out, you will lose your individual rifle squads as he focus fires on them, which is what was happening before. He was focus firing, and I was losing squads. And basically, this is going to help me significantly. Oh my god, that's a good Calliope barrage. That's killing a ton of people. I think I knew his force was there, but I'm not I wasn't sure that any of his force was there. Um, I just had a good feeling that it was there because I was kind of pushing up, and he would probably start blobbing up again like he was doing earlier. So I had a feeling his force was right there. That's like the most common place for any force to be if you're the southern player and you have pushed the northern player this far back. But that was a really nice barrage. But as I was saying before, basically the rest of this game, for my gameplay, consists of me sending a ton of rifle squads and a single engineer squad with a minesweeper all together so I don't get picked off individually, because that's what was hurting me before. And the best way to deal with that is just to blob up. And then I also have a Calliope to deal with his blobs. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't stop blobbing when I had 2 Calliopes out. But yeah, he was able to kill those 2 Calliopes. He's gonna lose this squad. He's so gonna lose this squad. This is what I'm talking about. If I blob up and he isn't, then he's gonna lose those individual squads. That's what he was doing to me earlier in the game. Now I'm just giving him a taste of his own medicine, because I kinda need to in order to win. He OP'd. Oh yeah, I guess that does mean... Obviously that's the only OP that a Panther Elite player has access to. But it's going down. There we go. Invent 3 on a rifle squad. Awesome. And butterfly bombs are dropping. I'm just like, I don't care. Throw your butterfly bombs on me. I'll shoot them in the midair with as many rifle squads as I have. You don't have a chance. And I did shoot most of them in midair. But I decided to go chasing after these martyrs. And now you'll see I am chasing him closer to my base, not closer to his base. And that is very key here. Because if I can chase him closer to my base, then I can send a Calliope barrage on him, and the Calliope barrage will be a tighter barrage because it'll be closer to the Calliope. And also it means that those martyrs are going to be kind of out of commission. Like, he won't be able to really use them very well. And so he's basically wasting 600 manpower and 80 fuel on 2 martyrs. So I'm kind of chasing these here. I have them backed up. I know he's not going to go chasing my rifles here, because obviously they're not going to kill my rifles. So I have them backed up. Now I'm going for his HQ, his forward HQ here. And at the same time, I'm going to send a Calliope barrage on these martyrs. There we go. Calliope barrage is sending. I'm going to go chasing this squad now, because I don't think he's going to chase me with martyrs, like I said before. There we go. He does decide to move forward once the Calliope barrage starts landing, because obviously you don't want to stick around. Calliopes can pretty easily kill martyrs if you're not careful, and if the Calliopes are lucky. So he knew better than to stick around, and here you can see me. I'm picking off individual squads of his with my blob. So this is like perfect. I'm giving him a taste of his own medicine, and it is working so well against this guy. It's just awesome. There's nothing better than easily beating your opponent, unless having fun. Having fun in a back and forth game is good, which this game has been back and forth. He's pushed me off multiple times, off the map entirely. I've pushed him off the map entirely multiple times. It's been pretty back and forth. But now he has a verbal wind, and that is actually pretty good against infantry. I was not aware of how good it was before this game. I mean, I was, but I don't normally get it, so I forgot how good it was, I guess you could say. So I was just like, oh my gosh, let's go ahead and activate the purging. I have over 1,000 manpower, so I can easily afford the purging, because it's 800. And turns out that I don't go for the purging because I'm more worried about reinforcing all the rifle squads I just retreated. I would say that's pretty important. And I was also considering that, the purging, or another Calliope. I wasn't able to really decide. In the end, I don't get a purging at all this game. I don't know if I even get another Calliope this game, but I focus on reinforcing these rifle squads. What else do I focus on? I think I get another AT gun at some point here because he has verbal winds, he has martyrs, basically things I need an AT gun to kill. And a martyr can actually kill an AT gun, because the martyr outranges the AT gun, I believe. I believe that is true. So an AT gun won't win against martyrs unless he is bad at microing martyrs. And so far from what I've seen in this game, he is bad at microing martyrs. So at some point here I'm going to have another AT gun that I buy. If I didn't already buy a second one, I don't really know. I haven't really been paying attention to my AT guns. But it's time for another advance. And you'll see I'm trying to blow up the best I can and put the engineers with the minesweepers close to the front. And my keyboard's actually failing me here. I was just like, oh my god, the shift key is not working. Okay, well, let's do something about this. How do I fix this? Yeah, every once in a while, like my keyboard has 18 keys on the left side of the keyboard that I can customize to do whatever I want, and I use those 18 keys in Company of Heroes. It's the only game I use them in, but I use them very extensively in Company of Heroes. So if those keys ever fail on me, I cannot really use the keyboard in this game because I don't use the default keyboard setup. I use my custom 18 keys. And so I was kind of lost, like, oh my god, my keyboard's failing on me. But recently I changed one of the keys to do something else, and ever since I made that change, my keyboard has not worked very well in this game. So every once in a while the keyboard will just stop working. Those 18 keys will stop working actually, and I can still use like the main part of the keyboard, all the letters and numbers and such, which I do kinda know in Company of Heroes, so I was able to use the keyboard. But still, it threw me off right there, so it kinda messed up my advance. Luckily, it didn't mess up my advance too much though, and I was able to push him back, and I'm now capturing a munitions point. And you might be questioning, why are you capturing a munitions point instead of capturing that middle victory point? And the reason is, I am pop capped. I am using 50 of my 55 pop cap, so I have room for 5 more, and I can't even afford another Calliope or Pershing, and I'm floating 1200 manpower. So I have nothing to spend my manpower on because I can't afford anything pop cap wise, so I need as much pop cap as I can get. So I decided to go for the munitions point, and then I send I guess I'm kind of split up into 2 forces here. A left side force capturing the middle victory point, and a right side force which was capturing the munitions point on the right side here. Now you'll notice that I'm not going all the way to the right of the map for that far right munitions point, and the reason is I was afraid my opponent was over there, and I didn't want to send half my blob over there. I wanted to wait for the middle blob here, that is on screen, to finish doing all their capping before I went on any kind of advance. Now here you can see I'm doing another Calliope barrage, and it's gonna do some damage. Turns out he has 3 squads there. Those are retreating. That's good. It means my blob is more powerful. Now would be a really good time for me to attack. I don't know if I do attack, but it would be a really good time because he just retreated probably like a third of his force. I'm not attacking. Okay. Well, then future self is telling my past self that it would have been a good time to attack because he just retreated a lot of his force. Oh well. I'm at least standing my ground. I guess that's what I was doing here, is just standing my ground, and the reason for that is I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't lose any fights I won, because all I need to do is hold the middle victory point and the right victory point, and I will win this. He only has 60 points left in terms of victory points. I have 136, which is like double, but I don't have very many, so I need to keep him away from these victory points. So I was playing more of a campy game at this point, I would say, but don't worry, this game is not going to get campy. Trust me. Especially with this huge armada of Martyr 3s coming in from the right side. Oh boy. That's not good for my Calliope. Run, Calliope, run! Vet 3 Calliope, run! I was trying to make it throw a barrage down before it died, because I was thinking, oh my god, this Calliope's gonna die. But it was already too close to the enemy infantry to be able to throw a barrage down. Did it die? Yeah, it died. That kind of sucks. I lost the Calliope. Luckily, though, he has 3 martyrs here, and I'm about to kill all 3 of them if I can get lucky and my opponent doesn't do a good job attacking me. You'll see I already sent in another Calliope. I was just like, okay, well, it lost a Calliope, but at the same time, I have 1200 manpower and nothing to do with it, so let's call it another Calliope. And it was worth doing. Watch this barrage. I killed the Verblevin. Probably killing some more stuff. I Actually, that wasn't a very good barrage, but I did kill a Verbal Wind. I killed a Verbal Wind and one infantryman. That's all the kills that Calliope has, and now I'm about to lose it again. One hit away from dying from mortars, so I'm like, oh my god, send all my rifle squads forward! Reinforce as you go forward! Because I need to sticky any mortars that decide to come into my base and kill this Calliope, such as the one on the right side of the screen. Oh boy, he's going for it, he's going for it. Rifles, do something about this! Go do something about this! Sticky it to death! Oh man, damaged engine on the Calliope. This Martyr's gonna die if I'm lucky. Oh, lost to Calliope again. I did kill 2 of his Martyrs in the process, and I'm about to kill a 3rd. And those were vetted Martyrs, but at the same time he killed a vet 3 Calliope. Overall, he lost manpower in that battle, because a Martyr cost 300 manpower and 40 fuel. But let's just think about manpower for now. He killed 1 Calliope, which cost 650 manpower. I killed 3 Martyrs, which is 900 manpower, so he lost 250 manpower in that, plus 40 times 3, 120 fuel. So overall he lost that, but at the same time, it sucks losing Calliopes. On the plus side, I guess there's actually 2 plus sides to this, other than the lost manpower from my opponent. First off is I have tons of manpower, so it doesn't really hurt me. And second off is my Calliope instantly gets refreshed so they can do another barrage. Because when you call one in, it doesn't have to wait a certain amount of time before it can barrage. Instead, it can just barrage and be good to go. And that worked out well. Well, I guess kinda well. I mean, I did barrage here. I didn't have to wait for the barrage timer to reset or anything, but, ooh. Minesweeper squad, go do your job! I'm running over butterfly bombs here. But anyways, like I said, the Calliope, well, it did get an instant refresh on its barrage, basically. It didn't do anything with that barrage, as far as I'm aware. So that kind of sucked. You'll notice here that my opponent actually focus fired on my engineer squad, the Minesweeper engineer squad, because he knows how easily my Minesweeper engineer squad is countering his butterfly bombs, and he's getting tired of it. I know he's getting tired of it. That's why I was having so much fun with it. And it was such a good strategy using my Minesweeper squad just bundled in with all my rifles. He focus fired on them multiple times in this game, and he was successful a few times killing them. But at the same time, he's spending 100 munitions on butterfly bombs, and I'm only spending 35 every time I want a new Minesweeper squad. Other than the manpower, which is 140. 140 manpower per engineer squad, but that's not too bad considering I have 800 and nothing to do with it. So, it kind of works out well.
Reinforcement underway.
That squad is Vet 3 in my base that's reinforcing, and there's one that's Vet 3 over here fighting in the field. So I have 2 Vet 3 rifle squads. I have 2 AT guns, both of them remanned, I believe. Maybe not. But I do have 2 AT guns. And that is awesome because it means I can make one face left and one face right, and I am fully covered from Ostwinds, or not Ostwinds, Verbal-Winds. They're pretty similar, just different guns. So I'm fully covered from Verbal-Winds. I know my opponent's not going to come charging with Martyrs at this point because he just lost 3 of them to kill 1 Calliope, and AT guns will kill Martyrs if he's not smart with his Martyrs. But if he is smart with his Martyrs, which, as we've seen so far in this game, he is not, but if he were, he would be able to kill my AT guns with his Martyrs. But he's not very good with Martyrs, so we all know these AT guns are going to be awesome because they'll basically counter any vehicle he sends at me. And then I have Rifles, which will counter any infantry. And I also have a Calliope, which will basically force him to retreat every once in a while. So it kind of works out well. I have 2 victory points out of the 3. My opponent has 19 total remaining victory points. Once again, my Minesweeper is not doing its job because it's too far back in the pack. Tell all my rifles to halt, and then tell all these guys to go forward with the engineers in the front, just as they should be. That's something you have to pay attention to. You can't just blob up your rifles with your engineers. You kind of have to make sure engineers are in the middle or the front, just so that they're actually useful, and your front rifle squads are not just running over mines. Because that'd be a useless engineer squad. Especially if you lose a squad. So, did I send out another Calliope barrage? I guess I right-clicked and canceled it. Oh, nope, here we go. I'm protecting the victory point. Protect the victory point at all costs. In fact, that's what I tried to do here. I try to protect the victory point at all costs. I don't care how many rifle squads I lose. I can lose all my rifle squads. As long as I protect this middle victory point, I will win the game, because he only has 5 left. 4. I say GG. I don't think he's going to get it. I am keeping my rifle squads here far longer than I should be, just to make sure he doesn't get the cap. Oh, the grenade fails. He has 2 points left. Oh, he got the decap. Ooh, yeah. Immediately retreat everything I have because I left them there too long to begin with. I didn't want to risk losing them because clearly I'm now going to have to counterattack him and get that middle victory point back. So I was leaving my rifle squads there as long as I could to make sure that he didn't get the decap on the point, but he got it anyways. So I immediately had to retreat all my rifle squads and everything because they were all so low on health. Well, there goes the decrewed AT gun. I think the other one was also decrewed pretty easily. So my opponent has 2 victory points remaining. I have 102. Let's go ahead and say that this game is going to be closer than you would think. I mean, it doesn't get down to like 1 victory point versus 2 victory points. That would be crazy close. It doesn't get that close. But it gets pretty close. Much closer than it currently is. Because my opponent is capturing the rightmost victory point. He's capturing all 3. He's captured all 3 victory points. I'm counting down really fast now. He also killed my Minesweeper squad, so I had to build a new engineer squad and upgrade them with Minesweeper. Now going on to the title of the video, which is Who Needs Map Control, which sarcastically. It's the reason I named it that is because, as you can see, I don't exactly have map control, but we'll see what happens. Like, I sarcastically made the title, Who Needs Map Control? Nobody needs map control. That's how you're supposed to think of it, is sarcastically. And you'll have to see how that goes, because I don't have map control at all. And I am ignoring map control here. I am just going for his infantry and doing as much manpower damage as I can. Because as I've said twice in this video, if not 3 times already, manpower is the rarest resource. If you want to destroy your opponent's manpower, it doesn't matter how many munitions or how many fuel or how much fuel he has. If he doesn't have manpower, he can't use it very well. So that's what I'm doing here, is just killing his manpower as well as I can. I'm not focused on, like, capturing points. As you can clearly see, I'm not capturing anything except for the rightmost victory point because I wanted to delay the countdown that I'm experiencing in terms of victory points. That's the only point I'm capturing. I'm not worried at all about map control right now, which is quite a change for me. Normally I am very worried about map control. You'll have noticed in a lot of my previous games, I would sacrifice map control, or no, I would sacrifice manpower for map control. In this case, it's the complete opposite, and it's working quite well. As you can see, I have pushed him all the way back to his base, pretty much. He has like 1 squad here left, and I'm capturing the middle victory point. It's decapped. He's gonna lose this squad if he's not careful. I killed myself with my own grenade, apparently. I'm lucky it didn't fully kill me. That was a Vet 3 squad. I capped the middle victory point, and that is GG. That is GG right there, because he doesn't have a chance of decapping it. So in this case, who needs map control, sarcastically speaking, is quite true. You don't need map control to win when you're this late in the game. It's over an hour-long game, and you both have so many munitions and fuel that it really comes down to who has more manpower. And in this case, he had less manpower, and so I won. So, what did he build? He built Tier 1 and Tier 3, both of which I kind of question, but he wasn't really able to build Tier 2 or Tier 4 because I was putting so much pressure on him in most of the game. So, I just questioned his desire to build Tier 1 and Tier 3, period. Or at the beginning, rather, not period. They are good buildings, just not in the beginning. Why would he do that? I don't know. But overall, it was a really good game, and it was a pretty balanced game as well. Lots of back and forth. We're both level 12s. It wasn't like a one-sided game. It was not a short game by any means. Yeah, it was just an awesome game. looking overall at what we each have left, it was pretty much a landslide after that last battle. He had nothing left. Um, Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the video. That's really all I have to say for it, so I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys. The reason I want to upload this video, even though it is a short one, is for two reasons. First off, it shows what you are supposed to do as Americans against Panzer Elite by luring them away. And the second thing is rather funny.